So please stay with us. First, though, the question the football world is asking tonight, can he do it? Can the new Manchester United manager turn around the fortunes of a club with such a rich and successful history?
Yes, after months of speculation, today Erik ten Hag was finally confirmed as the club's new manager.
The Dutchman is currently in charge at Ajax and will take over from interim boss Ralf Rangnick in time for next season.
He will be the fifth permanent manager to take the reins at Old Trafford since the departure of Sir Alex Ferguson.
And he's joining a club that's far from united, with fans protesting against the club's owners after a season of humiliating results.
Well, let's join our sports correspondent David Chisnall, who's live at Old Trafford. David, is this the start of the revolution that United fans were hoping for?
Well, they'll certainly hope so. You know, Manchester United have fallen so far behind their main rivals, Liverpool and Manchester City, that turning this club around is arguably the greatest challenge in world football right now. But it is a challenge that has been accepted by the Dutchman Erik ten Hag. He has been announced as the new manager today. He will take over at the end of the season on a 3-year deal running until 2025 with the option for a further year as well. He's currently the head coach at the Dutch club Ajax. He will continue with them until the end of the season. Well, United say they were deeply impressed by his long-term vision for the club. As for ten Hag today, well, he said it's a great honour to be appointed manager of Manchester United, and I am hugely excited by the challenge ahead. I know the history of this great club and the passion of the fans, that I'm absolutely determined to develop a team capable of delivering the success they deserve. Well, there we go. He mentioned the fans there, but what do the United faithful think of his appointment?
I think it's brilliant. I think it's fantastic. Proper progressive manager, something that the club really needs. Hopefully it'll be the start of a new era. It could be the new Ferguson.
What are your hopes for what he can do at the club?
Revitalise it, sort it out, do a Liverpool on it, you know. But it's going to take a long time.
He's proven he's won titles. He nearly got Ajax into the final of the Champions League, so he does have the experience and the knowledge to run a big team. So yeah, I think he'll do good.
So that's what the fans think, but just who is Erik ten Hag? Well, he's a former player who has spent most of his time playing and coaching in the Netherlands. There he's also worked under the former assistant to Sir Alex Ferguson, Steve McLaren. He was his assistant at FC 20. He's 52 and his football education also involves a couple of years working alongside the City boss Pep Guardiola while he was at the German club Bayern Munich. He was appointed head coach of Ajax back in 2017, and since then he's gone on to win 2 league and cup doubles with the club. He's known for bringing through talented youthful players and also for his attacking style of football. That will be music to Manchester United fans' ears if he can bring that back here to this club. Well, let's have a chat with the United legend now, Sammy McIlroy. Get your thoughts on this, Sammy. Are you excited by this appointment? Is he the right man?
I think that over the last couple of weeks, all we've heard is ten Hag going to be the manager of Manchester United. So he was a favourite and he's got the job now. And the job begins in the summer. It's a massive job. It's not going to be just like he's doing at Ajax in Holland. This is pressure. This is 24/7. He knows all about the history, which is good. And the thing that I'm impressed about is he knows how United want to play. He knows the history and also the youth setup, which is a big thing in Manchester United. That's great as well. So hopefully he can do the job.
He's beat the likes of former Spurs boss, the current Paris Saint-Germain boss Mauricio Pochettino to the job. Yeah. Does he have the experience to get the players on side to really regather and regroup this club?
Well, I think you know, in his interview he talked about the vision of the club, which went down well, you know, and Pochettino was a favourite maybe a year ago, but ten Hag has got a great record in Holland. His football's right. But again, it's here. He's got to come here. He's got to, for me, he's got to revamp the club, and that is a big job to revamp Manchester United. It won't be done overnight. I think the club have got to stick with him. They've got to give him 3-4 years. Hopefully he can turn it around in that time, but he's got to bring the players and it's going to suit Manchester United.
Fantastic, Sammy. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. There we go. It is a big job, isn't it? And his first game will be against a big rival, Liverpool, in a pre-season friendly on July the 12th. You know, there is a long road back for United. Could this be the first steps for the club?
David Chisnall, thank you. 3 to 4 years they've got to give him. Very interesting times. We'll be watching. Thank you for that.
Well, staying with United, and the home of the club's captain, Harry Maguire, has been swept by police after he received a bomb threat. The 29-year-old has been subject to widespread scrutiny and criticism all season. Cheshire Police used specially trained explosives dogs to search the home, which he shares with his fiancée and 2 children.
A man's been arrested on suspicion of murder after 2 people were stabbed in Manchester. Police were called to Pollard Street in Ancoats, where they found a man in his 20s dead at the scene. Another man, also in his 20s, suffered serious leg injuries.
The father of a 2-week-old baby girl who died last year has been charged with her murder. Felicity May Harvey, who was from Haywood, died in hospital in January last year. Now police have charged her father, Darren Harvey, who's 25, with her murder.
Well, next tonight, it is 10 years since a young boy died after he was swept out to sea when he was fishing. His older brother desperately tried to save him, and in the end he had to be rescued. Well, now the mother of those boys is in training for a very poignant memorial walk.
Leah Hunt from Wirral has drafted in her grandchildren to help. They're all taking part in the May Day Mile fundraising campaign to help the RNLI. It comes as new figures released today show just how important that work is, with more than 200 people being rescued by the charity in the northwest last year.
Andrew Fletcher reports.
A giant wave came over and it knocked my Uncle Sam down.
And that's why we're here, isn't it, boys?
Walking with her grandchildren to remember her son. Leah Hunt is training for an emotional 12-mile coastal walk for the RNLI, 10 years after its crews came to the aid of her sons Sam and Lewis in the sea of South Wales.
A freak wave took Sam off the rocks. Lewis followed. And they trod water for, I believe, about 30 minutes. The helicopter Sea King winched Sam, took him straight to hospital. And the RNLI took Lewis out the water, and unfortunately Sam just wasn't strong enough.
Sam was just 15. He'd been enjoying a fishing holiday with his older brother. Lewis survived, and Leah says she'll be forever grateful to the lifeboat crew that rescued him, whose service has inspired her fundraising.
We've raised just over 21,000 to date. If we can hit the 25,000 mark to commemorate his 25th birthday, I'll be extremely happy.
The need for that money has never been greater. The RNLI is entirely funded by donations and staffed by volunteers. And demand for its services is increasing. Figures for the past year show a 30% rise in the number of lives saved by crews on the northwest coast.
We're seeing more and more people enjoying the staycations, enjoying the northwest coastal areas that we've got, which is fantastic. And with the higher footfall, what we've seen is, is a more need for the RNLI services, from lifeguarding to lifeboating.
Leah's hoping her charity walk will inspire others to get involved in the RNLI's May Day Mile fundraising campaign, supporting the volunteer lifesavers who she now sees as family.
They don't just save people at sea, they save people on shore, and that's what they've done to me. They gave me my life back. They saved me a double tragedy, them guys on that boat that day. They're just amazing.
Andrew Fletcher, ITV News.
Next, the warning to employers that a shortage of HRT treatments could lead to more women needing time away from work.
The shortages can be traced back to supply problems because of high demand and the pandemic, and it's led to some women swapping HRT products between each other to get by.
The hormone treatment, which isn't suitable for everyone, is part of a range of help to lessen symptoms of menopause, which can leave women with debilitating symptoms and anxiety.
The government says it's a victim of its own success after a drive to encourage more women to ask for help.
Our reporter Claire Hanna has the story.
I know from women who are contacting me who are having to share Estrogel, which is a pump. So instead of taking 3 pumps, which you should be taking 2 to 3 a day, they're only taking 1 pump each and sharing it with their family and friends. So it's absolutely just scandalous.
Fiona has seen firsthand the impacts of HRT shortages. She had a hysterectomy at 42 and went straight into menopause. She suffered brain fog and other symptoms and says HRT can be a lifeline.
You know, if you had a kidney removed, you'd have to have medication, wouldn't you, to be able to not only survive but to live. And, you know, it is important, particularly for women who've gone through surgical menopause, that not only is the HRT made available for them, but the right HRT for them at the right time.
For the vast majority of HRT products, there isn't a shortage, which is the good news. But for some of the more popular products, such as the Estrogel products, there is tight supply because prescriptions have increased. We have met with manufacturers in recent weeks who are aware of the problem and are increasing production. And we've been reassured that most of the supply issues should be resolved by June.
The government says the shortages are as a result of more women seeking help. But for Claire, the menopause was a terrifying experience, which is rarely discussed.
And I actually thought I was losing my mind. My memory went, couldn't remember simple names of a cup or a spoon. Say to my daughter, can you get me one? And I just couldn't remember.
She wants to break the stigma and says education in schools and the workplace is key.
I had to take time off work. I took 8 weeks off work. I just couldn't function as a person. That has a huge impact. That has an impact on my personal life as well, my husband. I'm happy to talk about my workplace where I am now, to talk about it because it's important. If it stops one other person going through this, it has to be done.
Claire's HRT prescription currently costs £27 a month. The government has pledged to reduce this to one annual charge, but that has yet to happen, pricing many women out of the help they need. Claire Hannah, ITV News, Sale.
OK, here's what's still to come on the ITV News at 6:30 with Mary.
Coming up in the programme, guilty of murder, the mother and stepfather who killed their 5-year-old child. Logan Mwangi's body was found dumped in a river near Bridgend last summer. The couple who killed him were convicted today alongside a 14-year-old boy. Also tonight, Boris Johnson is off on a trade mission to India as MPs back home debate opening a parliamentary probe into his Partygate law-breaking. Plus, gun salutes to mark the Queen's 96th birthday, where the royal fallout continues from Prince Harry's latest interview. We will have more on that and the rest of the news at 6:30. Lovely picture of her with the horses. Hope she's having a fabulous day. Well, next, some news that took us a bit by surprise today, that one of Britain's most popular sports stars is making a comeback.
Yes, 10 years after announcing his retirement from boxing, former world champion Ricky Hatton is returning to the ring.
Yeah, Ricky, who's now 43, is taking part in an exhibition fight at the Manchester Arena on July the 2nd against Mexican boxer Marco Antonio Barrera.
Yeah, I chatted with Ricky earlier this afternoon and he was very keen to stress this is just an exhibition.
It isn't a fight, it's an exhibition, but it will be competitive because we're champions, we're fighters. And at the end of the day, I don't think Marco will want to come to Manchester and be stood on his head and made to look a fool. And I don't want to be made to look a fool in front of my Manchester fans, so that's where the competitiveness comes in. But that is all it will be. There is nothing more than positive that will come out of this. And if there's people sat there on the settee going, look where Ricky was a few years ago. He was on the bottom rung of the ladder, you know, with his drinking problems, his drugs, his suicide things. Look at him now, look what you can do. Isn't that worth doing, Mike? I think it is all day.
What is your motivation for doing it? Is it financial? Is it to experience that buzz again, which I know has left a huge void in your life, hasn't it?
Well, everyone obviously turns around and says, why you done it? You've done this and you've done that. You've already climbed the heights. You've beat Costa-Zoo. You've fought Mayweather. You've gone to Vegas. Granted, and how you're doing it for money is always the obvious one. I'm very fortunate. I'm not doing it for money. You will never know, and this maybe sounds a bit selfish for me, you'll never know what it felt like to feel 60,000 at the Etihad singing There's Only One Ricky Hatton, 40,000 in Vegas singing There's Only One Ricky Hatton. What am I doing it for? That is what I'm doing it for. Trust me.
It is an exhibition, but you are going to be trading blows. At 43 and having had 10 years out of the ring, is there a danger with it?
I don't think so. I mean, it's in a controlled environment where there's an understanding between the two fighters. We're going to be fighting in bigger gloves. It's going to be less rounds, shorter rounds. You know what I mean? So no, I don't see there being a risk.
And what have your family said about it?
My mum obviously was the first one to oh my God, and I had to say, Mum, I had to say to me, Mum, it's an exhibition, it's not a fight. I'm not going to go in there trying to kill each other. We're going to try in there and put a fantastic show on, but it is what it is, Mum. A lot of people are going to sit there at home and go, oh, I'm not too sure about this. Have faith in Ricky Hatton. Trust me, this will be good. You don't have to worry about me. Trust me, this will be nothing but positive.
It's just because your mum loves you, isn't
That's
it?
exactly what it is. We all love him. We're all worried about him, but he insists it's a one-off.
It's so good to see him back. We've missed him so much. Great favourite on this programme, isn't he? We love him to bits. OK, let's get on to the rest of the sports news. Chris is here, and we've been hearing about United's new manager. What about Burnley?
Yeah, we're still waiting to see who will replace Sean Dyche at Turf Moor. Middlesbrough boss Chris Wilder appears to be the favourite. Today, Dyche has broken his silence after being sacked last week. He's issued a statement thanking fans for their support during nearly a decade in a town he says has become a huge part of his life. He adds the memories of promotion campaigns, European travels and competing against some of the best teams in the world will always stay with me. Burnley's caretaker boss says he hopes the changes spark a reaction from the players.
That can be a trigger for a team. Sometimes it gives them a jolt. I'm thinking, right, this is where we're at. What do we do as a group now? Do we sit and wallow, or do we come together and try and take on that next challenge, which I've seen so far? That's what they've done.
Finally to cricket, and Lancashire have made a solid start to their latest county championship match. They've taken 9 wickets on day one of their clash with Gloucestershire, who are currently 247 for 9. Fingers crossed they make it 2 wins out of 2.
Thank you. Great. Thanks, Chris.
Now then, it is, of course, a day for big birthdays, as the Queen is 96 today.
Yes, happy birthday, ma'am, from Granada Reports. Hope she's having a lovely day and watching Granada Reports.
Oh, she always watches, Lucy. But there is another big birthday to celebrate.
One of our region's few remaining veterans, James Fenton, is 100 today.
Yes, happy birthday, James, from everyone at Granada Reports.
Yeah, we're delighted to report the Burma veteran was given a surprise party.
And our Isle of Man reporter, Joshua Stokes, was there.
A surprise party for a very special occasion.
Oh, yeah.
Reaching the grand milestone of 100 years old.
It was absolutely amazing. Something that I certainly never expected. When someone came outside and greeted me and told me this was the reception, that could have knocked me down, really. It was absolutely amazing.
Recognition for a man whose past hasn't always been properly noted. James fought in the Royal Artillery in Burma, often known as the Forgotten Army. But remarkably, he would also regularly write letters, take photos and paint pictures of his time at war.
I'd taken some images and I thought, well, I better develop these prints. So I jumped into my trench, got all my chemicals going, asked the lads to put the tarpaulin over the top of me. No sooner had I started than the Japanese guns roared over. The friend came running to me, said, I want that again. I said, don't you pull that cover away. I said, it'll ruin all these prints.
But it wasn't just the photos that were saved. James would often write letters home too. And to his surprise, he was reunited with them after his father died almost 40 years later.
He'd put all the letters on a long string, and actually there are 440 letters. And I thought, oh, this could make a book.
Something he now cherishes at his home in Port Erin.
Scaling the precipitous side of a nullah to gain the crest and claim another small advance in this forbidding land of Burma. Now we have a new label for seasoned veterans.
A veteran proud to remember his past, this week adding another memory he's not likely to forget. Joshua Stokes, ITV News in the Isle of Man.
James, we salute you. Happy birthday.
Absolutely. Now for the weather, here's Kerry.
Ooh, I love a hot shower, me.
And a minute shorter than usual.
What a legend.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather. Hello, very good evening to you. Did okay today, mostly dry, warm and sunny across the northwest. Just a little bit of cloud pushing in from the south this afternoon. Beautiful reflections on the Manchester Ship Canal. A big thank you to David Noble for this shot. Some beautiful shots coming through into the inbox. You can see slightly opaque there on Keith Ryance's shot, just indicating that the morning mist and fog are just lifting first thing. As we head into Friday and the weekend, there's a slight difference, maybe a little bit more cloud as we head into the weekend, still with some sunshine, many places dry, but some fairly blustery conditions and easterly winds starting to pick up. We've got high pressure to the north and low pressure actually to the south across many parts of northern Europe. For us, that means an easterly, so it's gathering strength a little bit tomorrow and into Saturday, and perhaps dragging in slightly colder air by the time we reach Monday. Overnight tonight, nothing too chilly. We've got a bit of a breeze. There will be quite a bit of cloud pushing onto the Pennines, maybe some low cloud here, but down towards rural Cheshire, for example, could dip a little bit lower than what we've got on the thermometer, 3 or 4, not out of the question. 5:55 and 8:24 are your sun times for tomorrow. Quite a bit of cloud around, bit of a breeze first thing, low cloud lifting from the Pennines, and then it's a mostly dry and bright day, but quite breezy, quite gusty and blustery for the Pennines and perhaps out towards the Isle of Man. But temperatures were still doing okay, 16. The average is around 13. There's a risk of a few showers being brought through, a slightly stronger east to north easterly wind first thing on Saturday, hopefully clearing into the afternoon, and not too bad, you know, over the next few days. Take care. United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Oh, hello.
Get him a towel.
Thanks, Kerry. Tomorrow, the rapper who started reading music at the age of 6 and has a powerful message for women.
We will see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.